Bismillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fahim Hazimi bin Muhammad Hamdan. My metric number 1191525. So, our group today we present about two cases, which is the first one is Majlis Agama Islam dan Adat Melayu Perak Darul Rizwan v Muhammad Sufyan Ahmad Shazli and Anner. And then the second case, which is Latifah binti Makzin v Rasmawati binti Sharibun and another. Alright, we proceed to the first case. Case one, which is case Majlis Agama Islam dan Adat Melayu Perak Darul Rizwan v Muhammad Sufyan Ahmad Shazali and Anner. Alright, we proceed to the parties involved in these cases. In this case, the parties involved, the first one is Majlis Agama Islam dan Adat Istiadat Melayu Perak Darul Rizwan as the appellant. For information, these cases in the Court of Appeal. And then Muhammad Sufyan Ahmad Shazali as the first respondent, which is the defendant. And then Said Alauddin bin Said Daud as the second respondent. Alright, so we go to the fact of the case. Fact of the case on this case is about Majlis Agama Islam dan Adat Istiadat Melayu Perak MAIP as appellant had appointed Muhammad Sufyan, which is first respondent, as the chairman for the Mosque Qaryah in the committee for 3 years by contract, which is having a contract. During that period, first respondent noticed that he was terminated as the chairman by the Perak Islam Affairs Department, JAID, and his position replaced by the respondent 2, which is Said Alauddin. And then first respondent filed a case to the High Court to declaratory reliefs and damage against MAIP because he thinks that JAIB had no authority and the decision was unlawful and unconstitutional. And then MAIP won the High Court refused this case because they think this case under the Sharia Court matter and not under the civil matter. But finally, the High Court received this case to hear because the respondent filed a case about the termination of contract of employment and he want to declaratory reliefs. So for this matter, it is under the civil court, not the under Sharia court. Because of that, the High Court want to hear this case and finally go to the appeal court. So from me, we proceed to the my friend Muhammad Azlan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. First of all, my name is Muhammad Azlan bin Abdul Qadir from TLC 4, Group 1, and my metric number is 1191519. Before that, thank you Fahim for your explanation, for your introduction for this case. And now I will continue and I will talk about the issues, the legal issues and the ground of judgment for these issues. Okay, as we know, these issues have been brought, this case have been brought to the Court of Appeal. So let's go. Allowing the appeal, setting aside the decision of the High Court, which means the court have allowed the appeal. Muhammad Arif Yusof, which is the judge of court appeal, delivering the judgment of the court. Okay, for this case, they have 5 legal issues and we will talk one after another and what is the judgment of the court for these issues. Okay, the first one, the issues where the dispute concern application of Islamic law. Court held that the matter did not concern the qualifications of a person to act as an imam or bilal under Islamic law, but the position of Sufyan as the chairman of the mosque, as stipulated in Section 15 of the Enactment Pentadbiran Agama Islam Perak 2004. although the subject matter about the administration of a mosque, but it is a dispute under administrative law. Hence, the High Court's decision on the question of jurisdiction was there upheld. Okay, so the second issue is whether dispute concern matter within jurisdiction of High Court. Court held that the important issue to determine was what precisely was the core or piece and substance of the subject matter as highlighted to the decision of the case of Wan Khairani Wan Mahmud. Thus, it is not so much concerned whether the civil court or high court have the correct and applicable remedy. Okay, so we will go to the third issues. The issues is whether Syariah court had jurisdiction to decide matter. Just now we talk about high court, and now issues is whether Syariah court had jurisdiction to decide matter. Court held that Syariah court has no power to adjudicate on a matter touching and concerning the appointment and termination of mosque committee or members or the Jawatan Kuasa Syariah Masjid as stated in section 15 of the 50 of the enactment Pentadbiran Agama Islam Perak 2004. Okay, next, the issue is whether action should have been commenced by way of judicial review. Court held that the case should have been filed and that an application for judicial review under Ordinance 53 of the Rules of High Court, even though the respondent claim, which is Sufyan, claim in the language of his status that he remained as the lawful chairman of the mosque since he has been terminated by the wrong body and failure of natural justice. Okay, the last issues. The issues is whether this case involve public law elements. Court held that the dispute was centered on public law. In this case, Jaib is Jabatan Hal Ehwal Islam Perak had no statutory jurisdiction and breached the rules of natural justice on this matter. It is an established proposition that a failure to comply with Ordinance 53 of Rules of High Court results in an abuse of process for which the claim can be struck out. Okay, now we have done and we will go to the conclusion for this case. Okay, for the conclusion, indeed, the matter of case of Sufyan's termination as a chairman of Masjid Al-Awliya is not under the jurisdiction of Syariah Court as stated in section 50 of the enactment Pentadbiran Agama Islam Perak 2004. This case is related in topic Islamic law in civil courts and jurisdictional conflict. Therefore, the case have been filed as an application for judicial review under Ordinance 53 of the Rules of High Court. The argument was solely centered on public law in the absence of statutory jurisdiction on the part of Jaib and breach of the rules of natural justice. Thus, it is an established proposition that a failure to comply with Ordinance 53 of the rules of high courts results in an abuse of process for which the claim can be struck out. Okay, I think that's all from me, and thank you for watching and listening. Before that, I will pass to my other friends to talk and explain for the others case. That's all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is Adib Alimi bin Abdul Rashid and my metric number is 1191527. Okay, let's continue to second case for our assignment. The case is Latifah binti Mak Zain versus Rosmawati binti Sharibun and another. Okay, parties involved in this case. Firstly, Latifah binti Mak Zain. She is the appellant, and then she is the third wife of the deceased, and she is also the caveator in the deceased estate. Then, Rosmawati binti Shariban. She is the first respondent, and she is a daughter of deceased from second wife. Then we move to another, Puan Buruk. She is the second respondent, and she is second wife of the deceased. And then Roslinawati binti Shariban. She is the third respondent, and she is also a daughter of the deceased from second wife. That's mean from Puan Buruk. Okay, we move to fact of the case. Okay, firstly, the facts are straightforward. Daughters of second wife and third wife were disputing over the money in the joint account between the deceased and the third wife, whether it formed part of the deceased estate or had been given by the deceased as gift into divorce, which is recognized in Islamic law as hibah. All parties involved in this case are Muslim. And then the High Court ruled that the Islamic law apply of for determination of the above issue. The Court of Appeal had that is determining whether the assets is a gift into divorce or hibah between Muslim. The Sharia Court shall have the jurisdiction to the exclusion of Civil High Court by virtue of Article 121 Clause A1 of the Federal Constitution. Then, issues before the Federal Court. The case went to the Federal Court and the issues were on the conflict of jurisdiction between the Civil Court and the Sharia Court. The Federal Court upheld the decision of its lower courts and decided that it is the Sharia Court which has the jurisdiction to decide the issues. Then, Abdul Hamid FJ delivered the judgment of the court. With the other judges concurred, His Lordship first reviewed 46 cases, including Lina Joy case, which dealt the jurisdictional conflict issue over the past 2 decades, and went on to examine the 9th schedule in details. 9th schedule is a legislative list of federal and state. It contains matters that the parliament and the state's legislature may make laws. And then Latifah's decision that the Sharia court's jurisdiction shall be conferred expressly by the state laws or parliament laws made in relation to the federal territories, and there is no implied jurisdiction by merely referring to the state list of 9 schedule. Okay, and then we move to the next point that will be handled by Mukhlis. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Mukhlis Hakimi bin Mat Hayazi. Matrix numbers 1191533. Alright, today I will discuss on the legal issue regarding to the case that given to us. Right, the first is, in this case, the April Court heard a petition for letters of ammunition of the decreased properties. Second, the claim that filled a caveat in the estate of the deceased. Next. Next, we will discuss on the ground of judgment regarding to this case. First, the court then held that the given court, the Civil High Court, had no jurisdiction over the dispute, and that the orders regarding were null and void and had to be assigned, sitting at 121 Class 1A of the Federal Constitution. The Act 121 Class 1A told us on a provision that prevent conflict jurisdiction between the civil court and the Sharia court. The result that given by judge regarding to this case were the petition was converted to a writ, whether the deceased money had been determined as a grant of or hibah or not. The result is, first, if it has been determined, then the money will decide as a grant. So the money will distribute to the eligible parties. Second, if not, if we divided into eligible through the method of R8. Second, if the money did not decline, did not Muhammad did not determined by the deceased as her hibah, so the money in the deceased account will distribute, will given to the eligible party within the method of R8. The conclusion of reading this to this case is, concerning this case of Latifah binti Mat Zain v. Rosmawati binti Syaribun and Anna. In this case, the Appeal Court heard a petition for letter of admission of the deceased properties. Following that, the client filed a caveat in the deceased asset. As a result, this case is relevant to our syllabus. Topic 5, Islamic laws in civil courts and jurisdictional conflict. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Mukhlis for his conclusion, and I would like to add on for this conclusion. Okay. According to topic 5, Islamic law in civil courts and jurisdictional conflict, this case point that both courts, civil and Sharia, are creatures of statutes. Both owe their existence to statutes. The Federal Constitution, the Acts of Parliament and the state enactments both get their jurisdictions from statutes, i.e. Constitution, federal law and state law, as the case may be. So, it is to the relevant statutes that they should look to determine whether they have jurisdiction or not. Even if the Sharia court does not exist, the civil court will still have to look at the statutes to see whether it has jurisdiction over a matter or not. Similarly, even if the civil court does not exist, the Sharia court will still have to look at the statutes to see whether it has jurisdiction over a matter or not. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.